We're in? 3, 2, 1. Yes, you got it. Hello, everybody. I am Stephen Brody Stevens, and welcome to the All Things Comedy Network featuring my show here right now, the Festival of Sports and Friendship, hosted by me, Stephen Brody Stevens, on the All Things Comedy Network. And today we're doing something a little different. We are going to roll right into the show based off the show that was on previous. Why? Because we have a different time slot this week. So because of that, I bumped up on the show that was taping here ahead of time. So I thought to myself, hey, these are two cool guys hanging out. Why don't they come on visit my podcast? And so we called it, in the business, we call this a rollover. You know, in radio, they call it crosstalk. I call it a rollover, like Walmart. We roll it over. So we're rolling it over from Punch Drunk.
You got it.
Punch Drunk Live was in here recording. I was moving my stuff in. I have my baseball cards. I have my iPods, my iPads,
energy drink,
my Bing energy drink, Bang energy drink, energy drink, and straw. This is I collect straws now. They're the new baseball cards and play the straw game.
It's better than straws are the bad guys now.
Yeah,
apparently.
Will you sign my straw? I mean, that's where we're going. So that's what I said, let's get these guys on. I thought a lot of times people have to go to things or run in. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And I threw it out there, and we got a bite. Yeah. We got a bite today, folks. And they're here. We caught two. We got two live ones on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him from the great state of Illinois. You can find him preparing for this season of NFL. He is up to date. He dresses well. Great colors. I think the color coordination, it drew my focus. Oh, yeah. And it may have had something to do with this appearance here. Ladies and gentlemen, he's wearing an Atlanta Falcons New Era cap.
Thank you.
Here he is, Jason Tebow.
What's up, everybody?
You got it, Jason Tebow.
Thank you. It's good to be here on the Festival of Sports and Friendship. Big fan. Been on here. Not my first time on here. You've been on Punch Drunk a bunch. So I'm glad to be here. Is this going to be your new permanent time slot? Are you going to be right after us all the time?
No, I think this is just for this week.
Okay.
I normally do Wednesdays. I do live out over on Twitter, over on Periscope, and I do that Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But we moved the schedule around today. I'm flexible. A lot of times, Aaron, the producer, or management from up top will come to me and say, hey, Brode, we
know you're flexible. Do you mind moving it around a little bit?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Because some people can't. Some people, they only can be here at a certain time, and they're not flexible.
They're rigid. They're not flexible. I pride myself on flexibility. A lot of times I'll be shooting commercials out here.
We're not very flexible, our show, just because of Ari's in New York and the time difference, and he's always on Skype. So a lot of times it's hard for us to move, because if we move around, then a lot of times we lose Ari on Skype.
So your Skype is what?
Because
it all depends on Skype.
Well,
Skype only works a certain time of the day, I guess.
Well, when Ari's in LA, he'll be in the studio, like he always was. But when he's home in New York, it's 3-hour time difference, and then he's like, if we move it to 2 hours later, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I got a gig, I can't, I can only do, 11 o'clock. So.
No, I know.
We're not as flexible.
I'm just goofing around with you. That's Jason Tebow, and today you were rolling solo in here.
Yeah,
were you? Were not the other? Well,
yeah,
here?
It was Lucas Hurl and I. He was our guest today, and no Fight Nanny, no Sam, no Ari. Yeah,
where was Sam?
Sam has been taking a hiatus. Sam almost quit the show.
Oh, I've been hearing. There's always rumblings of Sam leaving, not leaving.
But him and Nick Youssef got into a huge argument.
On air?
On air, absolutely, yeah, over Instagram comments.
Oh, that's how it happens.
Yeah, that's how it happens. So he took what he said, he quit, and he'll never do it again. And then that turned out to be he's really just missing 2 episodes.
There you go. So. People want to, and we're going to bring out our guest, our guest of our guest.
Yeah.
People talk about how, Roseanne got fired I was thinking, just suspend her for a couple episodes. What happened to suspending? You know, comedians get suspended from clubs for a couple weeks.
Yeah, sure.
It's all like.
Have you ever been banned from the store?
Of course not.
You know what?
Haven't?
No.
That's a problem. I feel like everybody has.
Why,
for one reason or another.
Stephen Brody, stay away from the comedy
for
store.
1 month or for X amount of time.
Why?
I don't know.
First of all, and never,
Well,
ever.
Congratulations.
So-
Have you?
No, but the best employees. I think,
Well, he
have been
just got
fired.
passed. He just got passed. I mean,
Yeah, but
give
you
him
don't
some
have to
time.
be a regular to get banned. You can be. There's people that are like. The people that come there, they're not a regular. Maybe they try to do open mics, or maybe they're friends and family or whatever. And they're like, "Hey, look, you got into a fight with this guy. Why don't you both take a month off or whatever?"
Okay, so you're saying there's different levels of banning.
Oh,
There's-
sure, yeah. You can be like, "Hey, take a time." I mean, when Rogan and Mencia got into it,
Yeah.
that's why Rogan was like, "I'm never coming to this club again." And everyone recalls that there's the dark era, because Rogan was fighting for. Mencia was stealing jokes. No one could stand up to Mencia. Rogan did it for everybody. He's like, dude, I'm your Huckleberry. I'm your you know what I mean? So he confronted him and got into it with Mencia. And Tommy said to Rogan, why don't you take a couple months off and don't call in for spots? And Rogan goes,
I heard that story.
why?
I think.
Why me? Like, all I did was fight for this club and fight for every single comic. Like, why would I be the one to fuck off? He should fuck off, not me. And Tommy was just like, well, just take some time. And then Rogan's like, you know what? Mitzi never would have stood for this. And as long as you work here, I will never come to this fucking club again.
So that banning right there was basically a banning that was, or take a couple weeks off that was like
Months.
That was cataclysmic.
Cataclysmic, and also if you factor in, Rogan always let the store put his name on the marquee.
So do I.
And that's great.
East side.
Mencia never did. Mencia didn't. He's like, I don't want you guys making money off of me because you're not paying me. You're not giving me the door, so you can't put my name on the thing, on the marquee. So Rogan's like, I let you put my name on the marquee all these years. Like, I've done everything for this place, and you tell me to take time off and not him?
Okay. Excuse me.
So that's kind of the whole lowdown of how that happened. So it wasn't a bad. I mean,
that's a different thing.
That's a different.
I mean, it's not a different thing. That's something at a high level. That's a high level.
That's politics. That's almost political.
We're talking. I'm talking. When you said banning, I'm thinking more in like a personal, family situation.
Yeah.
So the answer is no. Yeah. I've not been banned. And
what's the most trouble you've been in there?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
That
you actually thought I would be banned. A guy who played Division I baseball. A guy who spends.
You played baseball?
The guy who spent 24 years, the last 24 years, hanging out with Major League Baseball teams. The guy who's done 3,000 television audience warm-ups for Comedy Central, Fox, Viacom, mostly basic cable. Gone on the road with David Spade. Was in The Hangover. On set, acting with Bradley Cooper. He did so well.
Cut out of funny people.
Let's bring him. Let's fly him out to Bangkok and put him in the movie again. And then David Spade take him. So, what I'm getting at is, no, I've not been.
There's no way you could have been banned.
I've not, because, the reason why there's no, I could have been banned. You have to look at, I know how to act. I know how to behave. I've been in different situations.
But, and again, I'm not saying I expected you to be banned. I was just asking, was there ever a time in your 18 years at the store where maybe, because there was a window where you kind of weren't yourself, and
give me that window. Tell me.
Well, I believe there's a whole HBO show about it.
You know what? But
maybe in that window, maybe they were like, "Hey, Brody, take a time out." I don't know.
No, because I was getting laughs on stage. Why would you want to bring? Why would you say, "Hey, don't come to my club"? You're getting laughs, but don't come to my club. That didn't happen.
Sure.
And you're going to say that window. Here's the deal.
I don't mean that in a disparaging way, by the way. Yeah,
but people don't seem to get it. I have to remind people that my issue is I equate it to somebody maybe doing too much cocaine, somebody being drunk and punching out a window, somebody to having an adverse reaction to a particular situation.
Sure.
That's to a med. In fact, I've studied it up so much. If you stop your med cold turkey, and I did only because, and the reason why it's fresh in my mind is because the Montreal comedy, we have Lucas Hurl here, we have Jason Tebow.
Yes.
And we're going to get to this in a second, but Jason went right into it. So I have to. We have Lucas Hurley just recently, last night, had the ceremony. This is all the reason why we're talking about this. It's all in the news right now. This is not. We're just bringing things up out of left field.
No,
this is not out of left field. These are pertinent, in the moment, happening now, and they're applicable to today's situation. Yeah. So with me, for example, everything was fine with me. Always fine with me. Everything was fine with me.
Yeah.
And I was taking the only reason I took meds was just to give, and I've talked about this on other podcasts. Of
course.
Just to
take
the edge off. And it started from like Facebooking, like social media coming about. I go, oh, I didn't sign up for this. This is, 12, 15 years ago. Didn't sign up for this. What's going on?
Yeah.
So I took the edge. Oh, okay, I feel a little bit better. Still doing it. Anyway. The hard part with meds is getting off them. That's all we all know about. People get off them. You got to do it properly, this and that. So I was taking maybe 20 milligrams of Lexapro just because that's whenever I tried to get off it, I'm feeling good. Then you get, I feel a little edgy.
Let me ask a silly question. Is that, or to anybody that's listening to this might not really know, is that a lot or a little? 20 milligrams of that, is that like
I think it's average.
Middle of the road kind
therapeutic.
of thing?
I think some people take 10, which is for maybe like anxiety. And then if you take 20 milligrams, then it's a little more like antidepressant as well.
Okay.
So there's different levels.
Yeah. So that's like like not the smallest, but not the biggest. That's like middle of the road.
I would say 20 is what most people.
Average adult would take if they're prescribed.
Yes.
That. Okay.
Jason Tebow asking question. Lucas Hurl listening. This is all.
Yeah, I haven't spoken once.
We're going to get into this. Don't worry. This is because things like this matter. Lucas Hurl, he's wearing a Buffalo Bills. But you're not from Buffalo. You're from Iowa.
I'm from Iowa.
Yeah.
I got to pick my teams. My dad wasn't a sports fan, so I got to.
But Brenton's from Buffalo.
Yeah.
So your dad's not a sports fan whatsoever.
That's how we became best
Did you
friends.
get that shirt from him? Is that one of? Did he give that to you?
That's a Boom Shakalaka special.
No, I bought this myself.
It's a cool look. It's very
Thank
80s,
you.
very 90s. I guess it was the hot years for
That's
the
what I like about
Buffalo
that.
Bills.
Oh, they're hot again now.
They're back again.
They're back.
Yeah, and Jim Kelly is doing well. He won the. You know what? I met Jim Kelly.
I heard he just got clear, and thank God, because for a while he kept going back.
Yeah, for the jaw.
Yeah, and that's a really bad cancer.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm bringing that up is because the ESPYs happened last week, and he won the Arthur Ashe.
The Jimmy V.
He won the Jimmy V.
Valvano,
So again, in the news, and that makes a difference. I'm all about being in the news. We don't just talk about things just to talk about it.
Willy-nilly, no.
Yeah, Jim Kelly, my older brother, Grant, wrote him as a kid. I don't know if you ever wrote athletes.
I did. I wrote a letter to Billy Sims when I was a kid.
Can I finish this?
Yeah, I just want to get back to me.
No, who'd you write a letter to?
No, my brother wrote a letter to Jim Kelly, and Jim Kelly wrote him back.
Really?
And signed a picture and said to my best Grant. And this isn't Jim Kelly's prime. This is 1993.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool thing.
What did the letter say?
It said to my best Grant. It was a framed picture, and my brother to this day has it.
Of course.
Do you think Jim Kelly actually signed it, or could it have been a ball boy?
I do. I might because
I'm just being honest. I just had to look. I had to bring honesty to people.
You know the guys.
I mean, you send letters to Major League Baseball players.
Would Chris Bryant sign something and send it back? Or
I don't know.
Would he have an assistant do it?
You could tell with some of them that it was like a print that they would just send to kids. Like it wasn't an obvious signature. It was just like a frame. It was a picture with,
All I'm saying is, I'm not saying Jim Kelly. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I just know that there are stories of baseball players having the clubhouse kids sign the name. And
I think that's way more. I think that's probably more common now.
I mean, I can see it. I always think of The Simpsons where Krusty the Clown is in an autograph table and Bart's signing the autograph and giving it to.
Well, there you go. That stuff happens. I have to be honest with people because I want to fill your head with honesty. So when you do something that's political or you do something that it carries some weight and magnitude, you have the information. Now you know that baseball players, potentially, NFL football players, potentially, have the ball boy sign it.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of celebrities
Just
do
want to
that.
let you know. I don't. I sign them.
You do? Do you
Of
get
course.
asked for a lot of signatures?
Just my baseball card occasionally.
Really? How
Yeah, people
often?
mail me a baseball card to the Comedy Store.
Of yourself?
Yeah. Are you shocked? I mean, what do you think? I was banned also?
No. I was just wondering, while you were banned, how you got a baseball card. What's your baseball card? Is that like your own merch?
2015. No, it's the real deal. How dare you?
No, I'm saying you had baseball cards made or like...
No, I didn't make them. They came to me.
But people send them to you and you sign
No,
them?
Tops. The company Tops
I understand. I don't
came
mean
to
to, I'm
me.
not insulting you, but I just don't recall you having a pro career. I understand you played college ball.
I played Division I baseball.
Absolutely. I know that. We've talked about it several times on your show
And I had
mine.
And then Tops Baseball Card Company, Alan Ginter baseball card collection within that.
Sure.
They put me on one of the cards.
That's cool as shit.
Well, you didn't know that?
I didn't know that. And it's okay that I didn't know it, but it's also,
Ari
I think
had,
it's
but
awesome.
other guys have had one. Ari, Bert, Sklar Brothers, Judah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, but you
super
actually
cool.
played baseball. You had the
Simone has one.
Yeah, I saw
Simone
that.
has it this
Yeah,
year.
that's cool.
You know, I think it means a little more to me in that I actually played
Yeah.
Division I baseball.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know that website, Baseball Reference?
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go ahead and type it
Your
in.
college stats are on there?
Yeah.
Really? I am going to do that, Brody. Hey,
And I'll tell you what, people are probably listening to this thing now and they go, "Oh, he's an a-hole. He's sensitive. This is what we deal
Not
with."
sensitive, no. This is just us having
Have
a
you-
No, but
conversation.
that's how these listeners are. I mean, whatever listeners, I'm saying like we could be getting punch drunk listeners in, and they're crossing over and they go,
Sure.
"Hey, what's this guy saying? He's saying this." He seems
But
like
you've
a
been on
jerk."
our show a lot. Everyone knows you and everyone loves you.
Sometimes I still get negative occasionally. You know,
You'll always get that. I always get that. We
Yeah,
always get
yeah.
a little bit, but that's just
I
people
understand.
trying to get attention.
I get it 100%.
Yeah.
But I also, it only comes from that area. I don't get it from my spots at the Comedy Store. I don't get it from my podcast. I don't get it from my Periscope.
mean-
I don't get it from when I'm doing stand-up on somebody's show. I get it from me doing a podcast on one or two specific shows. If you were to say, this is where the hate comes from, it's there. It's not from me doing Between Two Ferns. It's not from me being in The Hangover. It's not from me playing Division I baseball.
It's you being on Punch
It's
Drunk?
not from, yes.
It's just, God damn it. Guys, please, fans, stop being mean to Brody.
I'm not, look, I get to be honest, I
Yeah.
don't get, we have Lucas Hurl here, we have Jason Tebow, All Things Comedy, Stephen Brody Stevens, Festival of Sports and Friendship. I get hate mail, maybe a hate tweet or a hate message a couple times a month. Really not that much.
That's not bad.
Maybe less than 5.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like
That's probably what I get.
Okay, yeah, but you know what? You like that. You. I'm not saying you like it, but you cater to that, maybe.
No, I don't.
I mean, are you guys sticking frozen kielbasa's on your?
I'm
up
not.
your
I'm
anal-
not. Those
up-
guys are.
up your anal lips.
Those guys are. I'm not. But
Well,
that doesn't mean.
But that's going to. That's
not
gonna,
a hate tweet.
I understand, but you're going to leave yourself open to somebody doing.
They are. I'm not. They're leaving themselves very
Birds of a
open.
feather flock together.
Understand?
There
Yeah.
you go. What I'm getting at, and we're going to bring this around. I had a tweet the other day, not a tweet. I put an Instagram photo up with Earl Skakel. This is why I kind of stay to myself. So Earl was wearing a plaid shirt similar to my plaid shirt, and I go, okay, let's take a photo. That'd be funny.
Couple plaid guys.
Couple plaid guys take a photo, put it up. Couple plaid guys, well, pals in plaid or something like that.
Sure.
And then I get like the next day later, I'm scrolling through and I glanced, I saw like a comment and saying like, Brody Stevens, you're a effing baby, you're sensitive, you freaking complain, I've seen you on this, all you do is whine. And
Love mom.
yeah. Being very serious here, Jason.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So he said that, and so I wrote back, oh, now they're laughing at each other. So then I took a photo of him like with a kid, like he's all with like, I love my child, I love my little nephew, but then you should contrast it with the hate comment. Was he trolling me? Yes. Did he admit to? Because then I got into a messaging back, and the only reason I got into like instant messaging him back is because I had some time and I was in a relaxed state on the Starbucks patio, and I was more like analyzing where is this coming from, and it was basically, just trolling, but it didn't feel good. It made me feel not good because I know it's from certain places, and this is where it always comes from.
Yeah.
So it's like to myself, it's always going to be there. I got to deal with it. But it's not, because like I said, it comes from those early Death Squad podcasts. It's come from a couple Kill Tonys, and it comes from a couple
Punch Drunks.
Sure. Those are, it doesn't, and that's where it's coming from. And it's like, geez, it's like, it gets a little, I just want to like move on from that, I guess, is kind of what I want to do, because it's like it just came out of nowhere, and it kind of bummed me out. It's thinking like, and then the guy starts saying stuff, nobody likes you, this and that. Then you start thinking to myself, well, maybe they don't. I don't know. Then that's what trolls do. They make you start thinking it. Yeah. But then I'm thinking like, oh, maybe he is right, because I'm already. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like when comedians, we are sensitive.
Very.
I don't get it, and I'm gonna let you talk here, Lucas. I don't get it when people say, you're sensitive. Of course, that's comedians are sensitive. We have to be sensitive to our surroundings so we can write jokes. Sensitive so we can read a room. So when you're sensitive to stuff, you're leaving yourself open and vulnerable to a troll jabbing you in the frickin' rib cage. That's where we're at right now. Go ahead, Luke.
Do you really care what an audience thinks, though? Like when you were playing baseball, did you ever get booed?
Maybe here or there. I mean, not real.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. This is interesting. Okay, go ahead. Did I get booed as a baseball player?
Yeah.
I got heckled here and there. I pitched against University of Texas. They made fun of my nose. Other teams made fun of like my gangly extremities. So, I mean, I got ragged on here and there, but I had a good arm. I was able to like strike batters out.
Yeah. So that was kind of your way of getting back, was to just do your job well.
Yeah, I focused on the glove. Like, even though they were like trying to like get under my skin, I put it back into me being a good pitcher and a good teammate.
Yeah.
So what were you getting at?
No, well, I mean, that's kind of the 90s trolling to me, was like heckling athletes.
Live and in person?
Yeah, because I remember I went to a Twins game as a kid, and we sat right next to the bullpen.
I can hear Brenton's dog barking.
There's like 3 dogs upstairs.
There's 3 dogs barking.
Yeah.
What is this, a kennel? So go ahead. You're talking about sports. Okay, go ahead. You're talking about.
No, that's not Brenton's dog's bark. I can tell. That's Hank. That's the other dog. No, my point is I remember being a kid and sitting next to the bullpen, and there was a drunk guy that was. Do you remember a pitcher named, I think, Jim Plunkett? Is that the right name?
That was a football quarterback, Jim Plunkett,
not Jim,
for the Raiders.
I can't remember his name. He pitched for the Indians in the mid '90s. But there was a drunk guy just getting at him, and you could tell that he was messing with the guy's rhythm as he was warming up for his job.
Right.
A bullpen pitcher just trying to, get loose. And
yeah.
He was letting this guy affect him.
Right.
You're right. Comedians are sensitive, but you can also, I think, choose what you want to be sensitive to. Like a troll, some random guy on the internet just messaging you, screw him.
It's easy. I understand. It still doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not the kind of guy who goes, oh, it feels, because I don't get them very often. I guess if I got them all the time, I would feel like, oh, I'm doing something right, or it's like you become immune to it. But I also feel like, who trolls Mother Teresa?
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
Someone does, though, right?
I don't know. And did I just compare myself to Mother Teresa? Yes, I did. Because my heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
I'm honest. Here's the thing. I was supposed to be bar mitzvahed. I was supposed to go to private school. I was supposed to do all of that. All the pieces were in place. My mom went to Fairfax. I was going to be Jewish, and I fought back is what I did. I didn't want to be pinned down with labels and rituals, okay? So I fought back. Is that good? Yeah. Is it bad? There's some bad, but it allows me to share truth.
Flexibility.
It's like I always tell people, it's like, I am Jewish.
Do you practice Judaism? Do you celebrate Hanukkah? Do you celebrate Passover?
I celebrate being American. I celebrate. I used to. I mean, honestly, I that was one of my lines. I'm American #1, human #2,
Jeez.
Gemini #3.
I'm Pangea #1.
I think that I just was never. I feel Jewish. Whatever that means, I feel it. Okay, there you go. But I just never did all that, and I think I've been able to report back and say, hey, it's rough out there. I wish I was in Hebrew school. I wish I was protected. So why don't you stop telling me what to do? You didn't live it. I'm in the frickin' ocean swimming with sharks, and you're on a frickin' yacht. I think I know about survival.
Water.
I think comedians naturally don't want labels, though. I liked what you were saying earlier.
I agree with that. I agree with that statement.
Well, I meant labels, but I like that. I meant labels in a sense like Nike or Polo or New Balance, or sometimes people say don't perform with a message on your shirt. It's confusing, like you're doing stand up and the whole time I'm looking at your shirt that says. But here's the thing. Those things can matter. Maybe subconsciously they do matter, but then you also have to say times are changing and you do have to weigh it out. It's like some people say never perform on stage, but then you look at Big Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias. Yeah. He's in shorts. You look at who else is in shorts? Kevin Smith,
Angela Bowers. If you remember
he did
him.
shorts. Okay, there you go.
Big J Okerson does a lot of times as well.
So those are
the
long
gloves
shorts.
and
So there's exceptions to the rule, but I always tell comedians, like, there's fundamentals and there's ways to, I think, increase your odds of quote unquote making it. Mm-hmm. But then you can also say, I'm going to throw it out the window, and go for it, whatever that means.
I would just say, look like you, dress like you.
Brody, there have been many. I've gone on stage a few times in my Brody Stevens T-shirt.
Oh,
yeah.
I got to get you some more.
You have some?
Yeah,
please. Do
you remember?
Go ahead.
Do you remember when we first met? I remember the first time you and I ever spoke.
Well, I've known you probably since like close to 2000.
Yeah.
Like a little after.
You and I both moved out here right around the same time. And we were doing LA Cabaret. If you remember that on Ventura.
In Encino.
Yep. Thank you.
So we did do that. Okay.
So we were doing that. And then I did a joke. And then there was a bigger room and a smaller room there.
Yeah, the small room.
Yep. And so we were doing, and Jason Galern was the host.
Uh-huh.
And I did a joke. And then somebody came up to me afterwards. They go, that joke is, you stole that joke from Brody Stevens. And I go, I mean, I know who he is.
That's right.
But I guarantee you, like, I am not the type of person who would ever steal. I've never been accused of that. It's the last thing I would do. There's a lot of crazy things I would do. Stealing a joke is not one of them.
Very defensive.
But my joke was like, I'll tell you what my joke was. You got it. I have done 200 audience warm-ups. No, I'm kidding. At then it was only 200. And they're like, that sounds a lot like Brody. No. My joke was, so they told me your joke, which I had never heard at the time.
I probably still do it.
You do still do it. And then
I don't retire jokes.
I nor do I. And then your joke was, I'm not in a Mile High Club, but I jerked off on a Ferris wheel once.
Oh, yeah. It's like a
classic joke.
But a lot of people do similar jokes.
This is the thing. And then mine was that I did that night was, I'm not in a Mile High Club, but I jerked off in an airport once, which is actually a true story. And so I'm like, oh no, that's just parallel thinking. Like I've never heard him do that joke, and then I came up to you.
Yeah, I appreciate you not.
Came up to you and I go, hey, people are saying this joke and that joke and that I, stole this from you, and I'm telling you that I didn't. What should we do? And then I told you my joke, and
What'd I say?
And you go, similar but different. You do it, I do it. We just never do it on the same night. And I go, Brody's a cool guy. Okay.
Oh, okay. I guess I said
you
that.
could have been an asshole. You could have been a jerk. But you're like, hey, I don't think you stole it. But you agreed that I didn't steal it.
Sugar Ray wasn't playing.
Your joke's funny. My joke's funny.
I don't get into comedy drama. I'm not into it. I'm just totally.
Is that true?
No. But let me get back real quick into this thing. Mm-hmm. With the stop and the meds, real quick.
Yeah,
just
of course.
Hey,
whatever.
Just real quick before I forget.
Take your time. It's your show.
But I went because I was feeling good, and I had my my pilot. I did that little.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. I knew I'm performing at the Comedy Store, and again, most of my issues, if you would see me, I would say you guys would see me mostly at the Comedy Store, and a lot of my issues were always there performing late with Don, late night, Don Barris and craziness going there, and that world.
Sure.
So, and then I would do my audience warm-up world, and that would be good. So I had my audience warm-up world. I had my Comedy Store, which is most of the time was a late night, button heads with guys. But I still occasionally get my decent spot, too, to, like, prove it. I was, like, doing regular stand-up spots,
Yeah,
too.
your main room spots would be great. It was just your OR spots were a lot of times later.
Right, or whatever. I'm just saying, like, I would, like, Don would, like, always want to mess around, and I would always say, like, guys, I do stand-up also. Let me do my stand-up. I'll mess around, too, but I want to do my stand-up. Yeah. So I had issues... Again, late night stuff, and then I'm talking about the issues of the meds where we go, oh yeah, you were under people think something. I just have to set the record straight. So then I had my audience warm up, which I did a good job there. I had my baseball world, I had my family world, I had my personal world. So doing my warm ups, and then when Zach said, hey, I think I want to produce a show, like he always talked about it. So I knew in the back of my mind I had this show possibility. So whenever I just kept doing my warm-up, but when I started having getting pushback from some of the people, then I started that's when I kind of grew out of it. I go, why am I going to deal with this guy, my situation here, not enjoying myself when I know I have something on the horizon? Warm-up's good. Don't get me wrong. It's what I was getting at. It's you're getting paid, but it can only go to a certain point.
I feel the same way about Red Zone.
Yeah, and when you're doing it, you're putting out big energy. It's not like, oh, you're just punching a clock. Yeah, you're punching a clock, but you're also
working.
You're working, and you're putting your soul out a lot of times because it's especially you're doing something creative or you're right around it. And the bottom line is, I took warm-up as creative also. But it was draining. But you got a paycheck. So here's the thing. Doing that, but then when I started knew that, maybe I have my own opportunity, that's when I started I started pushing back on the warm-up a little bit. So when I had crew guys, because you're there all the time, even though they don't mean anything by it, it's familiarity breeds contempt, just issues with that.
Quite well from your Best Damn Sports Show, all of that crew is the Red Zone crew. Those guys still to this day, last season, were asking me about Brody. Every year for 10 years of working at Red Zone, our stage manager, camera crew, even hair and makeup, all of that is Best Damn. So they always go hey, do you still, what's going on with Brody? They ask about you 4 or 5 times a season.
Yeah, Puma, everybody over there.
All know you.
Andrew Siciliano. People don't understand, Best Damn Sports Show. It was groundbreaking. If you look at all the shows now, from Major League Baseball Network to Fox Sports to NFL, Red Zone, it's all coming from that Best Damn Sports Show building, the 101 Fox Sports. It all from that show.
Yep.
All these
the first 2 years of Red Zone were on the soundstage of Best Damn.
Yeah, and we had the guests. We had John Kruk. We had
who was the coolest
Strahan.
Who was the coolest one you ever met? There, where you're
God,
cool. You were the most blown away because you.
Can we get back to me talking about meds?
Oh, sure, of course.
We got to keep this thing moving. This is they've heard the stories. I'm into energy.
I can tell.
So I'm trying to get at. That's why the Cubs want me flying out to Kansas City on Monday. That's where I'll be.
Because they need you.
They need my energy. Mm-hmm. They like the positive push. It's that stuff does matter. Mm. Why would I lie to people?
Are you going?
Yes.
Kansas City? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why would I lie to people and go, oh, I'm just making it up. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it always works. I'm just saying it's worked for me, and on paper it works. It's when somebody, I'll just equate it to this, when somebody's I'm just a nice guy, I think. When somebody's a 70% jerk, I seem to focus on the 30% decent person. So I don't see the jerk stuff. And maybe that doesn't get you ahead in life, buying a house, getting the Prius, a girlfriend, a dog, a child, but maybe it maximizes your comedic ability. That's what I say to things. I say to people, I I let it come to me, and then I maximize those opportunities as opposed to going out and getting it. Because I was never a guy who said, I'm funny, I deserve this. I was like, it's like, oh, you think I'm funny? Oh, maybe. And then you do, and it's like, oh. So I'm still like, that's why I don't really totally believe in because I would rip myself.
You don't believe in yourself.
I think we're all like that, but I also feel like I just was never a look at me guy, because I just wasn't for whatever reason. But I know people think I'm funny. They like to hear me talk, and I get up there, I'm okay with it, but it was never like, this is me, I'll do the faces, and I just don't have that. And that's not, I'm not knocking those guys. I'm not.
It's just not you.
It's not me, and maybe deep down they have something, but I was never the kid who like performed for my aunts and uncles like Billy Crystal and doing impersonations. I was more like of a goofy guy, or people said, oh, Brody, you got a funny face when you eat. Okay, well, I'll work with that. Go ahead, Lucas.
Oh, no, I really didn't have anything. Did you? So you stopped the meds when Enjoy It was going?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, this is exactly.
I want to hear about the meds.
Well, I'll keep it tight on it. See, I knew in the back of my mind Zach wanted to do some kind of show with me. Like, he thought it was funny. He thought that my relationship with my sister and my mom was kind of funny. He saw kind of like what people saw that were funny.
Yeah.
Wasn't fighting that, wasn't denying that. Okay, Zach was fun.
And he's always found you kind of fascinating, or he just is so interested. He thinks you're funny, and you guys are good friends, and he knows there's something there that people need to see.
I don't want to speak for you, Brody, but like you said, when people say, hey, I find your sister and your mom and Daisy, right? Daisy.
Yes.
Was,
yeah, Daisy.
Yeah, and then you work with it.
Right, yes. Well, here's the thing. So I knew that Zach, we wanted to do that. Okay, so I was always thinking of like ideas in the back of my mind. That would be funny for a show.
Sure.
That would be funny for a show. That would be funny. Okay. And so when I had my issue, this is the one day at Chelsea. I was doing Chelsea, rock, doing it. And that's the thing. When you're doing audience warm-up and you're doing a daily show, you got crew guys also. That's why the crew guys, they like you. I'm lucky. I'm blessed. Thank you. Because you don't want them not liking you. It's like the sound guy at the Comedy Store, the door guys. It's a bonus. I'm not doing it for the crew guys, but I know that they appreciate that I'm mixing it up, and I take it to the audience. I don't let the frickin' audience push me around. And like these slouching guys, like they like it because a lot of these crew guys, the camera guys, they're like blue collar guys, ponytail, long hair, union.
Yeah.
They like to smoke pot, whatever. Smoke. The crew guys, it's like they make the show go. They're like the foundation.
Yep.
So I always got along most of the time with camera guys, and sometimes I'd butt heads with the sound guys. That was an issue, but the guys on the floor. So anyway, I was doing the Chelsea thing, and I remember it was like I told the story before, but it was a holiday, so they're shooting on the weekend, and they had to do a couple extra shows because Chelsea was hosting the MTV Awards or whatever. So everyone was like kind of laid back. It was like, I can't be laid back. I got to push it. Like, we're going to do a show. I'm into energy. Sorry. And everyone was like messing around. The mic was barely on. It was like weird. And the crew guys were messing around. But I knew it was a Saturday, but I still got to do a show. Sorry. And I went out in the hallway, and I was going, and I talked to one of the producers. I go, God, these guys are driving me nuts out there. I'm trying to get the crowd warmed up. I go, he goes, what do you want me to do? I go, I don't know. I'm just telling you. I'm not asking. I'm just telling you. You book the guys. I'm trying to warm up I'm trying to help. And then he said, they like got mad at me or whatever for like interrupting them. So I went back but it was so quiet because it was a holiday, like everyone heard like a pin could drop, so they heard anything. So then between shows, there was 2 shows, he comes back in.
You did 2 a day?
We did 2 because it was a holiday. It was a special thing. He comes back in and said something like, yeah, you interrupted me. You should have gone to your superior. Why are you telling me? I go, I'm just telling you. I've been here. I never complain about anything. I go, one time I complain, and you're going to hold it against me? Fine. I'm busting my tail out there. I go, okay, fine, watch. So then the next show, I warmed him up, and then I gave him no extra. I gave the shutdown, and the show tanked that day. It was a Chelsea show, and it had like Whitney Cummings and Ben Glebe, and no jokes. And I I didn't do the Brody extra. I didn't orchestrate. That's not my job. My job is audience warm-up, not audience orchestrator, you know? So, which I do.
Yeah.
And continued at midnight also. So anyway, so that's when I left the show right there because I thought I was going to get fired over that, but I stood my ground and I just felt like, but that was such a long time ago. But that got it going, like I knew in the back of my mind, and I think that kind of like me blowing up there at Chelsea was similar to some of my blow-ups later on at the Comedy Store. Like I knew I had something going on. Like I'm just like pushing through, but specifically getting to the Med. So I had the show, and I knew we were going to shoot like 6 episodes or 6 15-minute episodes coming up. And then I had these shows in Ireland and then the Montreal Comedy Festival.
That's right, you were in Ireland. I remember that.
And they're telling me, go have a good time, celebrate, take a victory lap. And in fact, some people like that I worked with are even going like, you're not excited about your thing? You don't seem to. I go, yeah, I'm excited, but I'm just doing my stuff. So I said, okay, I'll go. And I went to the Dublin, and I read, like, if you want to drink beer, you can cut back on your med a little bit so you can drink some alcohol. I'm going to Ireland. Why not?
Sure.
So I went from like 20 milligrams to 10 milligrams, and I drank beer. I didn't get like hammered, but it was fine.
Now, listeners should know, you're not a drinker. You're not somebody who drinks a lot. You're not a guy that's a guy who drinks.
I remember when you drank Amstel Lights, but you wouldn't.
I drink,
much.
but I don't need it.
Yeah.
I can drink, but I don't need it. I don't have like that gene for either one way or the other. So just so I could drink and not get sick after 2 beers.
Right.
From a med. And my show was fine. I was feeling fine. Now, I made the mistake. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I did. Show was fine. Then I go to fly straight to Montreal, Dublin through Newark, and I go to Montreal.
Just for laughs or whatever.
Correct. Yeah. And I get there, and the first day I'm feeling good. Had fun shows in Ireland. I'd never been. I did well. I was like, wow, I did Ireland. Now I'm going to Montreal. I got all these fun shows I'm going to do. And I got there a day early, and I'm like walking around feeling good. Yeah. And then the next day, I got hit with like a fever, like worst fever I've had like in years, and like couldn't swallow. I was sweating, and I canceled shows. I had like 2 days of shows canceled. Mm-hmm. I was that sick. And then I go downstairs to see like the festival doctor, and I go see in the mall. They send you downstairs, and the guy said you have strep throat, and he says take this. It's a Z-Pack. I couldn't do anything I was not even eating. I was just doing juice.
You couldn't talk. Your voice was.
I didn't swallow. I was just like I didn't take anything. So he gives me that Z-Pack, and he said you'll feel better in 24 hours. I take it the next day. It's like, oh, I feel pretty good. Like feel like I'm feeling good. And the next day I feel like, all right, now I'm feeling good again. And I got my shows, did my show, everything's fine, and I'm continuing the Z-Pack, but I didn't finish. I was feeling so good, I go, maybe I don't need the meds. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But I was taking the Z-Pack because I was sick, which maybe I got sick because I stopped the meds cold turkey. It might have been withdrawal.
You could be a combo of things. Traveling, too. You traveled so much. There's so many germs when you travel.
Exactly. There's a lot of variables. But here's the thing. Montreal, I feel good. When I get on that plane to come home, I feel good.
Yeah.
I land, and then people see me when I come home, and they go, "What's with you? You're out of control." And I go, "What's with me?" I go, "I just went to Dublin and did great shows. I went to Montreal and did great shows. People are telling me to be happy. Oh, you're not being yourself." I go, "They told me to have fun. Now I'm having fun, and I'm told I'm not being myself." So that's kind of got the ball rolling on top. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You want me to be myself? I'll be myself.
What about the parking lot thing? That's kind of where I got.
Okay, so this night.
And that's where I was like, oh, this doesn't seem like Brody.
Okay, now here's this night.
Mm-hmm. No judgment. I'm just saying that's when I kind of like that does not seem like Brody.
This was this night.
Mm-hmm.
That was the night of Sarah Silverman's party.
Yes.
At this point, I was probably riding the wave of mania, feeling good.
Yeah. Which it does to ride the wave of mania. Just typical, right when you like amped up. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Amped up. So I went to Sarah's party, and I'm in a good mood, and I'm playing around with David Cross. I'm talking to people, but I also like went up to Aziz, and I said to him he said, "Hey man,"
You're way shorter than I thought.
He goes, "Hey man," I go, "Why don't you stop calling me man?" I go, "My name's Brody," and I go, "You know why people don't like you? Because you say stuff like that." That's what I said. I said something like that.
Yeah.
So, and then I talked to somebody else, Nick Kroll. I had a good talk with him. I forget. But I was like worked up.
Yeah.
But I was still getting laughs. I was playing around with Robert Smigel. I was playing around with David Cross. But people were coming back, I guess, saying to Sarah, like, Brody's not acting like himself, which I wasn't. I was amped up.
Yeah.
But I did go up to Aziz. Seemed to be in the news a few years later. Maybe my instincts were right. So then I go
for having a bad date,
and then I remember I went back to the Comedy Store. I just remember I was talking a lot. This is normal when you're like, talking a lot. That's all. And then I went back to the Comedy Store.
Where's the party at?
Sarah Silverman's place.
Oh, okay. No, I was just wondering. I didn't know if it was at a club or a
no. It was at
our
she was like a summer party.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I went back to the Comedy Store, and I remember like guys were hanging out in the back there, and then it was like Mervis was drunk, or his friend was drunk, or somebody was drunk.
Shocking.
Probably sounds like Mervis.
And the guy was, but it wasn't Mervis. I think it was Mervis's friend, and the guy was like annoying Matt. I think Matt Edgar. And I said, "Why don't you get the F out?" And I like front kicked him, like get the. So that's what I did, and they're in the parking lot. But here's the thing. When you're in the Comedy Store parking lot, it's like you're protected. So anything that happens in the Comedy Store parking lot, if they're going to hold that against you,
right?
Brody got in a fight in the Comedy Store parking lot. His career's over. It's the Comedy Store.
Those words will never be spoken.
So I mean, again, you have to look at these situations. Did I have a problem at Starbucks? Yeah. And what are Starbucks known for? Problems.
Yeah.
When you say Starbucks, it's like a joke these days, obviously, or it's a lightning rod for problems. I was unearthing these problems years ago. Do you understand? That's why in Full Circle, they want you to be on meds. Because if you're not on meds, you see things for the way they really are. And that scares people. That's what I went through. And I was so like, my eyes were so wide open by it. And maybe I was too excited. And it freaked people out. And then I did go on Twitter, but I didn't do any. I did go on Twitter and I said stuff like.
You said quite a few things.
Yeah, but I didn't do any racial stuff.
No.
And I didn't do any.
You just didn't seem like you.
I didn't, but I wasn't me.
But
they told me to be this guy.
I understand.
So instead of like me easing into that guy, it was like overnight. That's what it was. And I think the meds.
And I think that's why it was so alarming to your friends and people that really knew you were like, wow, in 24 hours, this guy does not seem. If you could watch somebody slowly over a month kind of go through that, then it's one thing.
Yes.
In 24 hours, it seemed like you were having a meltdown or like. Maybe you were even dangerous to yourself.
But here's the deal. Never was. And then if you look at it now, you look at it the way where we're at now and what that was. Honestly, it was just
foreshadowing.
It was Venice versus the Valley. It was progressive versus blue collar. And I fought back. So we don't need to label, Brody had a meltdown, just like they said.
There's no labeling.
It's almost like what they're doing. I'm not saying what they're doing to Kanye, but it's similar. It's similar. You get off the med and you see things for the way they really are, and people are freaked out, especially if you were walked amongst them and still do, or that can freak people out. So when you look at the people who freaked out on me, they weren't my baseball friends freaking out. They were the same people who were freaking out, or the ones who were very outspoken politically. I'm not saying I have issues personally with these people. Yeah. I'm just saying I feel, looking back, that's what it was. It was interesting, the HBO part, the first season, for these people, from like Venice, do a story on me. It was interesting. But the Comedy Central, and I go, look, I got to add some comedy to this. Let's go. That's where some fireworks were happening. Also, go ahead.
Good.
I don't think it's ever helpful when you go up to a friend, especially, and you say, you don't seem right. I never do that to people.
Thank you.
That's
Where were you?
because it's going to put.
6
Because
years
even
ago.
if you are right, I was there. I didn't tell you didn't. I like.
But Luke didn't call me in tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who called me? I'm not going to tell you who called me, but the people who were like afraid.
Peripheral. I didn't call you.
Not peripheral.
I never said anything
just
until
saying-
after it was all over, and I was like, "Hey, are you okay?"
The people who are afraid are the people who are very outspoken politically these days.
I don't
Just-
want to call
I'll
them
lay-
trolls. I don't want to say, but there are the people that are like trying to start a forest fire.
I
Yeah.
remember
I
Sarah
agree.
saying when she visited you in the hospital though, that you're the funniest you've ever been, or like
Morgan, I think. I don't know who visited
Yeah,
me.
I think it was Murphy.
Morgan. I don't think Sarah visited me. Look, I'll say this. Their heart's in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Their brain is somewhere else. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I'm not saying they don't care. I'm not saying these people don't care.
The one thing
I don't think America has a problem not caring. We
I
care
think
too much.
The one thing all those people had in common was they all cared about you. But just sometimes it's a way that's helpful, and sometimes it's a way that's hurtful or annoying or bothersome.
I'm just saying that I probably, like, if you're going to do something like that with your medication, make sure you communicate with your doctor and all that. I agree. I goofed up on that. I do agree they cared about me. I also feel like maybe the situation could have been not inflamed.
It's also a perfect storm. You were in a perfect storm.
It was a perfect storm.
Traveling, double traveling, cut your meds down, had some drinks, got sick,
Yeah.
took a Z-Pack. Everything's going on.
And I'm-
just shot a show. So everything is a perfect storm.
And I have to live with, on every podcast, oh, you had a meltdown. Thanks.
Yeah.
But everybody has meltdowns. That's not fair to. And also,
That's what I go through.
But it helps people that are going, because like you're saying, everybody goes through meltdowns. So it helps people when they are on the brink of one or have also gone through one to listen to someone like you that everybody respects, and they're like, wow, I like Brody. I'm a fan of his comedy. I'm a fan of his baseball. I'm
Thank
a
you.
fan of, he knows the Cubs. He knows the guys. They
you.
need his energy.
Thank you.
I need his energy.
Thank you.
So when you can kind of rehash that and talk,
Thank
it
you.
gives people not want to say hope, but they can relate
journal.
to it. They can relate to it.
A
And they go,
chart.
hey, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Brody went through this. I went through this.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
Cubs must have gone through this.
look,
Arizona State maybe went through that.
first of all, taking medication, whether you is there's no shame in that. No,
Absolutely not.
No stigma, no shame.
None.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
There's no stigma, no shame if you talk to a therapist. So there's no stigma and no shame. And I just want to say, if anyone like nervous about that, I also just feel that, I fought back. But it's all about being positive. You learn how to. I'm trying to think. You had such a great point there. It was a beautiful. You nailed it. You nailed all your points.
Well, I was just saying, you people can relate to your story. So I'm just saying, when you feel frustrated, like, oh, every time I'm on a podcast, people bring this up or people want to talk about this, especially if it's not one you've done a lot. But the good thing about that is there's people out there listening that are either going through that, about to go through that, or just went through that. When they hear you talk about it, they go, thank you, I'm not alone. I'm not just that.
Well, I'll give you an example. Exactly. Now, that's what I was thinking. Like Maria Bamford went away to a place.
Classic example.
Roseanne, she said when she got interviewed,
She probably
the
still
other
has
night,
to go to one.
She goes, yeah, I go. It's like a vacation. I go all the time. So I think going away to a wherever they want to call, whatever you want to call it,
Sure.
is
A timeout.
A lot of people do them, and it's actually kind of rock and roll. But I'm also saying that where we are at now, presently, 2018, August 1st, right around that point, where we are at presently, I think we're just hyper aware of everything.
Too much so.
yeah. I mean, how do you think it'd be different had what you went through 6 years ago happened now? It'd be much worse, right?
Great
Like,
question.
You know what I mean? Because
Answer that.
I
How
think
would
it'd
it be
be
different now?
it'd be 20 forgotten in 24 hours.
Yeah,
Be done. Oh,
Yeah.
that it. He'll be back.
you're exactly right.
I broke the mold on it. If you did it now,
Probably, yeah.
you're back.
That's that's true. That's probably true.
And that's it. Maybe I won't be. There you go.
When you were talking about suspensions earlier, which is a great point because it seems like people are fired and not like given kind of redemption. But I was relieved to see that Chris Hardwick got his AMC show back.
Yeah, me too.
Right? Like that was kind of okay. There's some good.
I agree.
Well, here's the thing. I think Chris getting it back is a good thing. Me instinctively looking at it, it didn't seem as though he broke the law. He didn't abuse her physically. He did not.
No,
do
she
anything
seems like a
that.
disgruntled ex. And again, I'll give my opinion, but I don't know either of them personally very well. I know him a little bit. I've never met her.
Right.
But what she's really saying is like, he was a sober guy.
Uh-huh.
I was dating a sober, famous man who was basically like, don't be going out late all night, going to the clubs and coming back drunk because I don't drink and I'm sober and I don't want to be around a drunk person. And don't be hanging out with a bunch of dudes partying all the time because I don't party. So if you're going to be doing that, then bye, bitch. And they break up, and then she's like, he was so controlling. He told me I couldn't hang out with other dudes. He told me I couldn't get drunk and come back drunk because, like,
right.
It's called being in a relationship.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
So, yes, and he did those things or said those things. She said that, and then there was an uproar, and then they got his jobs taken away. And then now they came back. Were people what were you outraged over? Were you outraged that what do you think, were people outraged that a website ran that? Were people outraged that how dare somebody, he's a bad guy? Were they outraged that he got fired?
I think that spans the spectrum. I think there were people that were outraged of each one of those things. But I think the initial thing was everybody just blindly listens to. And look, I love women. I was raised by lesbians. My dog was even a girl. I'm not saying anything shitty about women. I'm just saying now there's this new thing where if any woman screams fire, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like everybody just blindly trusts it, blindly believes it. Like, okay, oh, this guy raped me or this guy was inappropriate, whatever. Cool. You're fired. You're fucking blacklisted. And now we're going to do an investigation. There's not an investigation and then we will maybe suspend you now and now we'll fire you. You're immediately fired. You're immediately blacklisted. You're immediately, it's almost like McCarthyism. You're almost labeled a fucking communist.
Right.
And then now that you're a communist to the public, now we're going to investigate and decide whether you're a communist or not.
So Hardwick, okay, so the case, it's like the Roe versus Wade.
He was a sexist, misogynist, borderline rapist on her accusation on social media. Then he got fucking blacklisted from companies he started and shows that he started. Then they did an investigation and found out he was innocent, and now he slowly gets his life back at half because he's the Nerdist thing. He still lost all of that.
So let me ask, and Luke is ready to chime in here.
Oh, no.
Who benefits by this? Chris Hardwick getting his. Who benefits? Who doesn't benefit? What does it say? Does it going forward?
Girlfriends dating celebrities benefit because now they have power.
No, but now it's not because he really didn't do it.
Oh, you think he gets everything back? You think people around don't still kind of believe her and go, "Oh, I'm not going to watch that show. He's a fucking asshole." I mean,
he
has that for the rest of his life.
The deal.
You think you have it with your meltdown? He's got it way worse than that.
I have a meltdown. See?
But no,
I have to really fight back on this.
But that's what I'm saying. You just said people say, "Oh, I had a meltdown." I didn't have a meltdown.
People forget in this day and age. People forget.
Yes. And I also think America's or the world in general is wants to forgive. I do think good always wins out, Brody.
I hope so.
It always does. In the moment, it seems
I think there's a witch hunt right now.
Negativity wins. Yes, okay, but Chris Hardwick, to me, his reputation was always intact because I read the article. I usually don't read those things, but I did. Didn't seem like a bad guy to me. So I knew, like, okay, he'll get some stuff taken away in the moment, But 5 years from now, and I also think the same thing with CK. That
Both those guys potentially lost hundreds of millions of dollars.
Can I pull? Let's. I don't want this to go off the rails.
yeah.
Back to your meds.
First of all, Louis C.K., I'm not going to get into that one. He was a Trump basher. I don't think that's productive. I think if you go on Saturday Night Live and you're doing, or wherever you're going, I'm not into that. So if something bad happens to you, what do you mean? You don't agree?
I just think politics have nothing to do with what we're discussing.
Does with me.
Well,
I think politics are involved in everything these days. Everything.
And I think that's the unfortunate problem.
Well, there you go. When somebody's putting out, I'm just saying, like, it's just when you're putting out negative energy, it does seem to come back. Hardwick, where Hardwick doesn't really do anti-Trump stuff.
So then, how's he putting out negative energy?
He's not really
right.
That's why he got it. That's why he got it back.
I agree completely.
He didn't. He lost his entire company. The
getting
Nerdist.
it.
He lost all
I'm
of
not.
that.
The guy's. How much
For
money do you
nothing.
need? He's $100 million. He's a mogul still. He's a whatever he is. He's fine. He's not fine, but he can walk into some place, hold his head high, and he was. I think at the end, for him to be a part of this, it's he comes out looking. I'm not going to say looking better, but you get a clear image of Hardwick. If something could, I'm not saying it's beneficial for him, but I think him being back to where he was is it's on the way there.
Yeah,
I'm
saying like he's got it better off than Louis C.K. Louis C.K. is still like ashamed. Chris Hardwick is not going to be shamed.
I don't think Louis did anything wrong.
No, but
whoa, here we go.
Don't have that.
I don't.
But Brody, I like your statement that that negativity does come back. That whatever you think of Trump or whoever, focusing on the bad is just going to bring the bad to you.
And that's what most people do these days. They focus on the bad because they didn't play baseball at Arizona State and learn about positive energy, which is used by a lot of people.
Is that where you learned?
What position did you
Brody,
play? Did you played baseball, right?
I did. I played a little, but baseball players mess up too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
These kids.
Get out of here.
But you know what? Here's the deal.
Yeah.
You got these kids with these freaking tweets are out there. They're putting out racial tweets. It's because these kids weren't taught well. They weren't taught rules and fundamentals and freaking. You don't teach your kid that stuff.
When you bring that positivity to the Cubs, you're going to Kansas City. Mm-hmm. You go in, you walk in the room, right out the gate. How do you initially make the whole room positive? You walk in.
I'm just
what's
myself.
happening?
I don't do that. I let guys come to me. I talk to my friends. I talk to the coaches. I say hello to a player. I just observe. They come to me if they got a problem. They seek me out.
You see Addison.
I think that's so cool, though, that they do that. That the Dodgers and Cubs, both two of the winningest teams in baseball.
I mean, it's not an official position.
No, I know.
I don't want to like say I'm like being.
Oh, it's not?
I'm not. I mean, I'm baseball ref. These are not official positions. My views do not reflect.
But I read all the time about teams hiring psychologists and having like a positive energy.
It's kind of that kind of a
it
job.
Matters because
does.
you're playing 162 games. You've got crazy fans. You're dealing with failure. You're dealing
like, I don't feel that great. And then Brody walks in and you're like, oh, actually, now I feel a little bit better because Brody just walked in. And then that will have maybe even just a little effect of the game when they're at a bat or something.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
You're not incorrect there. I
No,
know
that's
I know
my-
you're kind of joking.
I'm absolutely not joking.
You're
I'm really trying to.
But it's a 0.001% joke.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Okay.
yeah.
Now,
But that's all. That's all. It's not a lot.
I'll tell you why. Because I mentioned I played baseball. So I would hang out with
Whereabouts?
with the Yankees, right? Brazello, my friend who's with the Cubs,
Yes.
he was coach of the Yankees for 12 years
Yeah.
with the New York Yankees. Started out as a bullpen catcher the whole time with the Yankees.
What a fun job, by the way. What do they make? If you're a bullpen catcher, what kind
Why?
of career-
I imagine
It's
a
none of my-
living.
none of my
a living.
business.
That's amazing.
None
yeah.
of my business.
No.
You can make.
I mean,
a
why
living.
would I?
As a sports
I'm
fan,
talking about my friend.
I know, but as a sports fan, I was just curious. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Back to your meds.
You
I'm
could say-
sure he's a millionaire.
I mean, you could say I don't want to talk about somebody's money. That's
Okay,
like
no,
not. That's not where we go.
saying-
I mean, what are you into? Cars and money? Are you into being the best bullpen catcher? You're impacting a game. How do you think you go to bed at night? How would you feel?
I don't.
Would you rather have a nice car and know that okay, you have a nice car, you were a part of something, or would you rather have not less of a car, have a lesser car but have more impact?
Lesser car, more impact.
Yeah.
I was just
There's
curious.
secrets out there.
Yeah.
The people in the know.
I was just wondering if bullpen catchers also worked at maybe a Starbucks or something. Like, I would like to be a bullpen catcher. That would be fun as shit.
Would it?
Like, if you're a guy that just, like, catches the punts of a punter while he practices punting, and that's your job, I would love that. I would love that.
I think there's more to it.
As a huge fan, of course, yeah, you would have to do everything. Go ahead. How you impact.
So when I come back from Montreal, no, I was off my meds. Hold on, this gas man. Hold on. Real quick. What were we talking about?
No, you were saying how you were giving an example of how you impact, how you walk in. You go, I know you're joking, but
all right. So with the Yankees, right? Borzello was with the Yankees,
Yes.
so I'd go on the road. I remember we were actually, I think, in Seattle. Went out to eat. I was up there. Yankees came. I think I visited or was living there at the time with Mike Mussina. We'd always talk baseball. Borzello would always go out to lunch with Mike Mussina. So we would talk Pac-10 baseball, Arizona State, Tempe, Stanford, UCLA, mechanics. These guys are into baseball. A-Rod's into baseball. Mussina was into baseball.
I love Mike Mussina.
I imagine.
Borzello into baseball. So we talk pitching and mechanics and have fun with it because baseball's fun. And he told me, he said, Mussina told Borzello, and Borzello told me, he says, yeah, one time I was in Seattle, and Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, was coming out to the mound, and he says, all I could think of is Brody saying, stay closed and get some. Stay closed. He said, he was thinking about me.
Mel Stottlemyre? Is that the name?
Mel was the coach, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
like
I know
the
the
pitching
name.
coach for
Yes,
the Yankees
yes.
back then.
I know him.
And so he came out there, and he was saying, all I could think about was Brody saying, like, stay closed and get some. Just something a little fun like that. It's fun, like you, like even saying enjoy it or like push or whatever. Just like little, if you can like connect with them. But that showed me on that level of me having an impact. Now, when you go back to Arizona State, where I was a recruited walk-on, I was basically, nobody got me at first.
What was the catchphrase about your face skin? What was it?
Skin scan?
Skin scan. Give
But
me a quick skin scan.
I just learned a lot about being a teammate and learned about energy and visualization and affirmations and regiments from playing baseball at Arizona State. And we had that.
I always forget that you played there.
But that's why, the reason why I went there is because I said, how can I become the best baseball player, me personally, that I could be? I felt I wanted to be around spring training. I went out to spring training a couple times. I go, wow, here in Phoenix, I went with Borzello. I get all these baseball teams, the A's, the Angels, the Mariners, the Cubs. I was just like in love with it. And then when I had a chance to go on a recruiting trip to Arizona State, I was going, wow, all the baseball teams are around here. And Arizona State was like a Major League Baseball team at the time. There was no Arizona Diamondbacks. So I was thinking, if I can get the top-notch training at Arizona State, and not only did I learn to become a better pitcher or whatever, not really, but I learned the psychology of being on a winning team. And we learned it from the guys who are now, they teach all the major league guys. It's really a basic thing. It's kind of a thing. Just like riding a bike. Once you get it, you get it. And that's what I learned. And then I applied it to my baseball getting better, to becoming a better teammate, to becoming a better stats. And then when I was done playing, to coming back and becoming a better coach.
Better father.
And then I started doing comedy, right? And then I went into comedy, but then I brought it all back when I started doing the audience warm-up at Best Damn Sports Show. I was able to take the sports, energy and apply comedy, and it kind of like put it all together. And that's like it gave me more strength. And that's when I started talking about the Valley. I'm from the Valley, and the kids reacted. Or you had these inner city kids, a lot of the black kids, like, arms crossed. I go, guys, we got to sit up. I go, I played baseball. I'll throw at you. And they would start laughing, like fake confidence. That was another thing.
Yeah.
So, again, it's proof. That's what I see, and I try to share that. And I feel like Arizona State, we had the most players in the major leagues.
Yeah.
And then you look
Is that true?
Yes.
You went there just a couple years after Barry Bonds, right?
Yeah, we had like one common teammate. But I'll say the only reason I'm saying this is because
Bonds was Arizona State?
this is
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. I really didn't. I swear to God.
You had the same
I didn't
coach,
know that.
right? You had the same head coach.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Jim Brock. We had the same coach. Yeah. I want to help people. Sometimes I feel like, oh, we don't listen to you. Or now people might say this is because this is not AI. This is mind, heart, stomach, balls, belief. This is not like analytics. Analytics are one thing. We can do that.
Yeah.
Stats. This is about a belief.
Yeah.
And it's applicable to today. And I feel like I'm doing comedy at the Comedy Store. Say whatever you want. The Comedy Store is probably the #1 comedy club in the world.
In the universe.
Say whatever you want. It's in Hollywood, which is say whatever you want. Say
whatever you want kind of a place.
Affects people. You got Hollywood, you've got DC, and you've got New York, and maybe Europe. Those are like big. For me to not say what I say, or not to at least share some of my personal findings, I feel like I need to do it. That's why I sleep well at night.
Yeah.
Knowing
Do
that.
you?
Yeah.
I don't.
You don't sleep well?
No. Well, I sleep good during the day. But at night I toss and turn, and
I always toss and turn, but I'm sleeping. I sleep well. Yeah. I go to bed. If I'm tossing and turning, excuse me.
I take a lot of naps.
I take naps, but if I'm tossing and turning, it's because it's probably I'm stimulant.
Yeah.
But I know at the end of the night, like we'll wrap it up. I feel like we've been doing pretty well. Like I sleep well because I know, again, we were talking about earlier about cars and all that. I feel like, did I help today? Did I help this world be productive?
Be better.
Did I share?
Did I make a difference today?
Yeah, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it to become bigger. I'm just doing it to maintain. I'm trying to share what I got. I'm not trying to change minds. Maybe I am, but
you'd be surprised.
It's like, and I feel now you're seeing people when comedy's down, morale's down a little bit. I think morale in comedy is down.
Absolutely, without question.
And I've told people that.
In a way that I haven't seen in a long time. And half of my life, like we said, we met each other probably 18 years ago. I haven't seen it this. It's very judgmental upon itself. You could say something and never, in my history of doing stand-up or comedy, there hasn't been a time as much as now where if you say a joke that's kind of edgy or controversial or something along the lines of let's say Anthony Jeselnik kind of a joke, that guy walks a tightrope. He'll say controversial things all the time. That's what he does. He doesn't mean these pseudo-racist or sexist comments. It's just, I'm going to say something controversial.
Right.
Right now, I've never seen a time as much as now where people will go, they'll look to their left and they'll look to their right before they laugh at it.
And why are they doing that?
Because they go, is it okay for me to laugh at this? Is there, he just made a black joke and I know he doesn't mean it, but if I laugh at this, is there a black guy to my left? Is there a black guy to my right?
So what
is
are
there
they
a
worried
sexist?
about?
They're worried about everybody has to have this mob mentality. You can't individually laugh
Blacks-
at whatever you laugh
Blacks
at.
in the mob, way to go. Jason Tebow, everybody. Right?
Or anybody, or women, or any,
Mob mentality,
You say the
that's
R
what you
word.
got.
You say the R word. You can't say retard anymore because everyone's like, oh my God.
That's what you got. You got the mob mentality.
This one person in the audience, this kid, has special needs. You can't make a fucking joke about it's like, no, that's what we do.
Well, you're not allowed to.
And
then
I
you
think
know
that's
what?
unfortunate. I think that's
here's the other
unfortunate.
thing.
I think that's unfortunate.
You can't make those jokes, but then Sarah Sanders, she can't eat at restaurants. That's the trade-off. You want to kick people out of restaurants, then you can't make those jokes.
Those are the same. It's the exact same thing.
I'm joking, but you think
no,
it is?
it is the same thing.
Oh,
I really do. I really do.
Well, there you go.
I think that's her job, and she should eat wherever the fuck she wants. And you can't fucking,
You have to. Well, go on Twitter and say that.
I don't dare. Otherwise, the
Why?
mob will get me. The mob
So
will
there
get
you
me.
go. So here's the thing. It's like you
I don't want the
can't.
mob to get
You
me.
can't have it both ways. You want it. This is you want to get, if you want to get rid of, it's like I just feel like I'm so over it. I just feel like
Twitter and social media has now become its own thing, and it's now the middle sibling that's like, oh, I'm telling, you just said that, I'm telling mom. And then they go through your shit, and then they find something that you said.
And they do that because they know people will freak out.
But that gives them attention too.
Because that behavior's been rewarded. And here's the thing.
It's rewarded by attention.
You see how all this is happening? This is coming from, quote unquote, Hollywood, progressive, politically correct. This ain't my kind of blue collar thinking. So I've been trying to tell people for years, this is not sustainable. I go, see the way I do it?
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I think every side of that, I think your side and the other side, the progressives and the blue collars and the Republicans and Democrats and everything, I think every side has their level of I want to get attention tattletales.
I think there's that.
So I think those are the ones that are flaming these fires.
I'm just saying, you look at California, it doesn't work. Go ahead. Maybe it'll work on a national level. Maybe people think the way the California model will work on a national level. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's working here for the most part. A lot of, that issue.
What is the California model?
Free prisoners, do whatever you want, drugs in the street,
I mean,
violence.
You can say it doesn't work, but it still is the 5th biggest economy in the world.
No, it is. It is.
As a state.
Okay, it is. But now we talk about there's no middle ground. Just like we were saying, like there's a lot of rich comedians and there's a lot of there's no middle ground comedian.
I understand.
So we were that's what I'm saying. Like, this is what we signed up for. Most comedians, I would say, 80% are probably progressive. So this is the model you got. You got fancy cars, everybody with fancy cars in the Comedy Store, and morale's down, and you can't say anything. But that's what you want, right? So you're either going to be multimillionaire or an open micer.
Sure.
What's is that what you want? Go ahead, Luke.
No, that's a great point.
Oh, thank you.
That's a great point.
You know what else?
That's going away. That's dying. The middle class is a '90s thing.
Yeah, and it's coming to comedy too.
Thing.
Welcome to comedy.
Yeah,
but you didn't want to like. It's almost too late now. I was trying to say, guys, what about me? What about the guy who's doing keeping the positive energy on the warm up? Where is the Daily Show right now for like a Chelsea for an at midnight? Where is it? Or a tough crowd even back then.
I would probably have to go to podcasts.
They're not there. You know
probably,
why?
Yeah, it's probably
because people don't want to hear it. They don't want to see angry, unhappy people. When I worked in TV, I made sure these guys were happy. I go, America wants to see happy faces. They want to see a happy audience. We've got Southern California weather. Let's look good. Let's push it. Let's be positive. Yeah. And I took care of these comedians, and I didn't fall for the BS fake clapping. Find the funny. Be real. And you know what? The comedians told me. And you say, what are you talking about? They would personally tell me, Brody, when you're here, it makes a difference. When you're not here, it's different. And that's the way it goes.
And you hear that from the Cubs as well?
I hear that from the Cubs. I hear that. And where are those shows today? And I'm saying if you're... I say they're not there because they don't have a guy pushing. There's not a guy, and I'm not saying these shows aren't gonna. They're just not. And look at the morale. Morale is down. And I'm saying but this is the bed you made. You made this bed.
Sleep. But it's not going to be like this forever.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think everything's cyclical. Dude, I mean, we've seen it. Remember when the fucking comedy, when we got out here, comedy wasn't what it is. What it had become. Podcasts have changed all of this.
I would like to say it's cyclical, but we're dealing in an age now with social media. We're dealing in an age where...
Which is also cyclical.
Yeah, but you're dealing with cyclical... So I guess freedom of speech is cyclical, is what we're saying.
Hasn't it always been throughout all of time?
I don't know.
Absolutely it has.
It's been?
they wouldn't have made it one of the put it in the Bill of Rights if it wasn't cyclical. They're like, we got to remind you that this is something that should not be cyclical.
So are you saying?
But then a new medium will come up, like newspaper or television or radio or now social media, where it becomes cyclical again, and we get very fucking dangerous with freedom of speech and now freedom of press, because now all this fake news things, because freedom of press is anybody could put an article on the internet and make it look like the truth, and because people read it, they go, well, it's on print and I'm reading it, so it must have some truth to it. So freedom of press and freedom of speech now is dangerous because of social media. And in that sense, I mean that to be cyclical.
I think that social media has definitely given people, you can research stuff now. And you know what? It's up to you to decide. And then you say, like, who's writing this? Oh, okay.
Yes.
You got to say, like, give me the writer. I want to know the writer. Okay, now I'll go listen to what you're saying. But then you go see the writer. Okay. Then I go, oh, he's into that. Well, I'm kind of like going to be that point of view. Then you go, let me go see from another point. Oh, he's another rat. Oh, they're all into the same thing. It's all freaking, why? Because they're all working for the corporation. That's how you see it. So you have to seek out independence. And that's why they're getting rid of the comments. That's why they're getting rid. When they're forcing out independent thinkers, that shows you that they're hiding something. That's my opinion.
I agree with that.
They're hiding something. So what's being hid? What, I don't want to get all conspiratorial. I don't know. But seems like my instincts would tell me things are being hidden. And then if you also want to look at social media, yes, people go, it's the worst thing ever. But I would say,
there's pros and cons.
I would say I think there's more pros than cons.
Sure.
The internet got hijacked by certain kind of people. And then also people thought, here's the other thing. Like when the nerds invented the internet, they thought, oh, it's just us. We're just speaking in code, HTML. And then eventually, like the dad from the Jersey Shore started figuring it out. And then some guy in Iowa figured it out. And then there's some jock guy, and they go, uh-oh, now these guys got it, and they're applying that. And then so they got to stop that. The technology got out of hand. So what I'm getting at is we are dealing with some growth and dealing with some issues. But I honestly feel, getting back to Luke, it's good versus evil. You can candy coat it all you want, Tebow. It's good versus evil.
Well, that's always going to be the case.
Hey, Brody, you know what's really good?
You want to do the baseball
The
card
baseball
game?
card game, yes.
Yeah.
Aaron, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Has this been an interesting podcast? I mean, it's different than what I normally do.
Yeah.
You're okay with this, Aaron?
Yeah.
Aaron, you're so quiet back there. I can barely see the top of your head. I didn't know that. I knew someone was cutting between cameras, but I didn't see that.
But this podcast, I'll tell you what we did today was I'm not going to say a ton of comedy. This was not necessarily a comedy podcast. This was
informative.
This three guys talking, informative. They had some ups and downs. Normally on this particular podcast, I do 40-minute monologue. Mm-hmm. Then I'll do phone calls. I'll call out. I'll take calls. I do sound effects theater. I will also do my new game called Echo Chamber. And then I will do the baseball card game. So but what we'll do today is we'll do the baseball card game, and then we'll wrap it up. But today was different, but I also felt like I needed to, with everything that's going on in the news and LeBron James and this and that, and you can't say this, and the Montreal Comedy Festival, I just felt like, I see you two guys here. Let's do a little rollover.
I love it.
So I know.
I find the same thing with health advice, like, you know, because I'm obsessed with that kind of thing, like what's best for you and whatnot. And you know, if you Googled apples are bad for you, you're going to find articles that'll tell you that apples are bad for you. So you are on your own to figure yourself out and what works for you and what makes you happy. I think that's the biggest thing in this life, is just finding out what makes you happy.
Well, they said the same thing to Jeffrey Dahmer. What makes you happy? Eating people. I mean,
Who
who
said this to him?
I mean, that's the thing. This is what made him happy.
I don't know if he's happy, Brody. I doubt he was. If you're killing people and you're a closeted homosexual, and
I don't know. He was doing it.
Yeah, but he's doing it behind the scenes.
It made him happy.
It did.
That's what made you happy. Doing this. What makes you unhappy? I'm closeted and unhappy that I have to kill people.
Yeah.
But what's making you happy? Me doing it.
Yeah.
So I understand, like, what just makes you happy. Yeah, to a point, but you also have to be a productive member of society.
Uh-huh.
Do you know? So you, Luke, do you know baseball card guys?
Big time.
From the early 90s?
Yeah, I used to, read the back and
All
memorize the stats.
Okay. All right. Let's see what I've got here.
1991 score too. That's now when you collected, did you buy the collector sets or did you buy the packs?
I stole this.
Surprise yourself.
I stole these from my sister.
Okay.
Okay, so 1991. Here we go. Get something basic. And I'm sure you would know a bunch of these names. This is 1991.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I have one of the. You're not looking.
No.
Are you?
No.
Here's the card I'm thinking of. I have it in my hand right now. Okay. 1991.
My senior year of high school.
I'm playing the baseball card game with Lucas Hurl. 1991.
I was in kindergarten.
Wow.
You say you know the year. You know these years. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What's your guess?
Of who the player is?
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn.
That's a great guess. The answer would be no.
Are there any clues whatsoever with the card that I just missed?
You can ask clues such as
what position?
There you go. So you would like okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, this would be like a rally session. He's a pitcher.
91 pitcher. Glavine.
Tom Glavine.
Yeah.
That's not incorrect, but I would say that's a good guess. Go ahead.
As a pitcher.
Jack McDowell.
That's a great guess, and I'll tell you why, Jack McDowell.
Blackjack.
Because now I'm going to show you something. This is what we do at the baseball card game. I actually passed through a Jack McDowell card.
Oh yeah.
But that is not the card. Now,
damn it.
Look how small this collection is, and I pulled it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's not the card. Again, that's what we call a close call in the baseball card game.
Mm-hmm.
No, it is not Jack McDowell.
But it's a pitcher we would know.
Lee Smith.
I won't when I do this game. I will never like pick a name unless we totally or say like this will be a guy who's like completely off the radar possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I won't do that to you guys.
Okay.
You had Lee Smith?
Yeah, that was my guess.
No.
But we can ask more questions too.
Yeah. Now you
Okay.
you just asked Lee Smith. You had a question. That's how you played.
No, that wasn't a question. My question was what position. You said pitcher.
You got
and
that.
I guessed Glavine.
There you
and
go.
I guessed
There's
Lee
your
Smith.
You get the one guess.
Oh, okay.
So you had your one guess. You went with Glavine. No, nice effort. Then I went to Luke,
And he went
and then Luke
Blackjack McDowell.
just threw that out there, just like on a whim. Now, and that I played into that, but to play it back in the game, now you can
Need
go ahead and
some
ask your
hints.
question.
Yeah. Okay. Weird question, but did he have a sibling that also played baseball?
That's a great question. That's a new question here at the baseball card game. No, I believe not. No.
Okay.
National or American?
League?
Yeah.
It's a great question. American League.
Righty or lefty?
He's right-handed.
Okay.
Starter? He's not like a relief.
He's known as a starter.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Interesting how you guys are playing the game here.
we're
They're really tag team. I kind of like it.
I'm glad.
So we have a
Aaron, do you have any questions?
starter right?
Okay.
Starter, right-hander, American leaguer, pitcher.
Yeah,
Charles Nagy.
Anyone?
that's a great guess, and I'll tell you why.
Was he in there too? He's right next to McDowell.
Hold that thought. Charles Nagy.
Nice.
But that's not the. So out of that small pack, I mean, this is like not that many cards.
No.
You've gotten a couple of them.
Okay.
So no, it's not Charles Nagy.
We're getting warm.
White guy?
See, now Aaron knows how to play. See, that's a great question. See, you can cut to the chase on a lot of stuff right there. A lot.
I feel like we have.
It's 91. They're all
No,
white.
I mean, they're so
White guy is a cut to the chase versus
There were
what
way more-
position does he play?
Way more black guys in 91.
Yeah,
That's
thank
true.
you.
That's
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Yes,
True.
he is white. So now
So
we have-
white, so that white American League, right-handed
Right-handed.
pitcher.
He's
In the American League.
Think of white-handed right guys. White-handed right guys. White-handed right guys.
And he's white. He's not Asian
He's white.
or he's not.
He is white.
Okay.
We're playing the baseball card game. He's a pitcher. He is white. He's a starter. 1991
American League.
Yeah.
American League.
Does he play for the Red Sox?
Does not play for the Red Sox.
Okay.
Was Jim Abbott right-handed?
Jim Abbott
No.
was through left-handed. He did not have a right hand. He actually had no right hand whatsoever.
I didn't know if I knew he was missing one hand. I just didn't know which one it was.
It's not Jim Abbott.
Okay.
No, this couldn't be.
The definition of a lefty was that guy. Could not have been more left-handed.
Now here's the deal. This is a baseball card game, and I know we don't have a ton of time left.
Mm-hmm.
And you said
I have a spot at 9, so I could be here up until about 8.
you said Jim Abbott, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were like, were you joking a little
No,
bit?
I honestly didn't remember which hand
Which
he
hand
pitched
he
with,
was
but
missing,
he
yeah.
was an American League pitcher in '91 was about his
So
time.
he didn't have a hand.
Yeah.
So what was there
one.
instead of a hand
Like a little nubbing
or a?
stump.
Okay. Now,
This is a baseball card game.
just keep that. When you said stump,
Is it Jim Stump? A famous American League right-handed pitcher in the 90s.
it is not. It is not Jim Stump. But now
Doug Stamp.
you know what? Is Doug Stamp was a player, I think, at one time. Okay. It's not Doug Stamp, and it's not
Jim Stump.
It's not Jim Stump.
Uh-huh.
It's not Doug Stamp. It's not Jim Stump.
Doug Stump.
Now, here's the deal. We're talking about guys who know baseball.
Yeah.
We're talking about guys who know baseball.
I'm stumped.
Are you Jim Stumped?
All right, now here we go.
Wait. Let's go more questions. What? Is he a Yankee?
No. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Who owns Wendy's?
Dave Thomas.
Stump.
Stump Thomas.
Not-
Famous pitcher.
If I
Dave
don't,
Thomas.
if I take
Pitcher.
if I take a straw, and I do something, am
Stab.
I okay?
Wait.
I'm giving you so many clues.
I know.
For guys who know baseball.
Wait.
But it was, I mean,
Do you want me to call? Do
1990
you want me to
baseball.
call? Oh, don't say that. You want me to call Ligney?
It's not Chuck Finley, is it? He's a lefty.
No, it's not Chuck Finley.
I mean, guys, you got it. I mean, you could say I don't want to be into it. Let me tell you something else about the guy.
Uh-huh.
He threw a no-hitter.
Nolan Ryan.
No, it's no way. It's Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
Aaron?
Do you know it, Aaron?
No.
All right. Here-
Stabler.
I guarantee you they know it on the
Stamp.
Once I hear it, I probably would know, but I
Steve
just
Stamp.
can't think of. Is he Oriole?
You want me to call Ligney right now?
Let's see if he knows it. Let's get this dipshit on the horn.
I don't think he'll be able to pick up.
He's in New York. Oh, he'll be able to pick up.
Nope.
Stump pitcher.
But he said he's
Stan.
There was a pitcher named Jim Stump.
Really?
Yeah.
See? Was he
we're calling to
right-handed?
Ligney. We're calling
he
to Ligney.
was.
See? Was he American League?
He was.
Then I won.
Played for the Tigers in the 50s.
Hello, Eric? Hello? Hello? Ligney, are you there?
I'm on the New York subway, so I don't know if you can hear me that well.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Can you name a pitcher?
Just one pitcher? Yes.
Who?
Greg Maddux.
That's a good guess. No.
I already guessed that, Eric.
Okay, John Smoltz.
I mean, this guy's naming
No,
players.
you're
It's a-
naming names.
it's
Come
a-
on.
It's an American League pitcher.
Stephen Brody Stevens.
Eric, I called you.
Did you pitch?
Eric, I called you out of the blue. We're giving you a chance, and you're goofing around.
Name a pitcher. Roy Halladay.
That's a great guess. You're close.
He's close.
Okay.
This is
Cole
91
Hamels.
though.
No.
Roy Halladay, close. Clayton Kershaw.
Why are you naming these current important guys?
You should let him know. Eric, it's 1991, American League right-handed pitcher.
All right, you know what?
No, I'm not giving up on this.
No, you know what? I've never had this happen. I tried something new. I let everyone just take over the show today, and look what just happened. And you said, "Oh, I don't think it matters." Oh, really?
I was trying to.
You just saw what happened. We've never had a baseball card game have this happen.
Really? But Aaron doesn't know it?
Gavin Stump.
You want me to tell you who it is?
Yeah. I think everybody does.
This guy pitched for the Blue Jays. This guy was right-handed. This guy was white. This guy had a great career.
I was thinking about that black pitcher they had.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Stieb.
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten
Never would have gotten
I
that.
never would have gotten that.
I never would have gotten Dave Stieb.
Yeah.
Never.
Really?
Never.
No.
I never would have. Jim Stump, I would have.
Do you know how many games? Do you know how many games Dave Stieb won?
In 91?
19 games, 17 games, 16 games, 13 games, 14 games, 16 games, 17 games, 17 games, 17 games. This guy had a great curveball and a great career. I thought, here's the deal. If I did the baseball card game with most major leaguers, coaches, they would have known that.
Yeah, we're not coaches.
It wasn't Saberhagen.
I'm
Well,
not
that
saying
would've been a
I'm
good
not.
guess.
I could be honest with you.
Yeah.
I could lie and say I'm not disappointed.
I understand you're
I'm a little
disappointed.
disappointed.
I'm disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
Because Dave Stieb is a guy who played in All-Star games.
But didn't, wasn't on my radar. And
But
definitely.
for somebody who knows baseball,
I do, but that's also 30 years ago, and Dave Stieb
but you're only
is a game.
You're only 3 years younger than me.
I only know American teams.
But that's
Brody.
that's a name that just slipped under the I could think of other sports where you'd be like, wow, I can't.
I'm not saying
Now
it
that I
was
heard the name, I do remember.
Okay, here, real
Craig
quick,
Hayward or
real
whatever,
quick,
but
real
like-
quick. I'll let you randomly take a card. Let me see if I can do it, and I'll tell you what. You can use real quick, and you can take any card. I may not even know the guy. I picked out Dave Stieb because I figured, these guys would probably know it. They're big time sports guys, and they know everything about the Comedy Store parking lot.
I grabbed a name that I did not recognize,
Okay.
and we'll see how. Do you recognize that name?
Not at all.
Okay, so
Okay, it's my turn.
baseball card game. Go ahead, ask your questions. You can.
I'm going to guess. You don't know him.
No, I don't.
Does not ring a bell to me.
Okay. Cal Daniels.
No.
Okay. Is he white?
Quite.
He's white.
He's quite. white.
1991, white guy.
Even his name's white.
His name's white.
Milky Stevenson.
His name is white.
I do now remember this guy. I do now remember him, but when I first came across his name, I didn't. But now I do recall him.
He's a white guy. His name is white. But we're dealing with the white guy.
His name isn't the word white.
Yeah.
He has a very white
Yeah.
name.
Craig Biggio. But you would know him.
No, I do know Bijou. And I do now know this. I remember this
Hall of
guy, but
Famer.
it's like
What position?
left field.
White guy, left field. Would it be... It's not Larry Walker. 91. Dan Gladden.
You have the first name right.
Dan.
Yeah, there you go.
Dan.
Left field, American League.
Teeb, can I see it again? I've already forgotten his name.
As you read the back, I think
Because
things will come
because there's
clear.
a chance I don't know who he is because I said pick anybody in there, and the fact that I got Dan right.
I'm not going to
says-
lie. I'm a little disappointed right now.
But the fact that I got Dan right is already good.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could sit here and mention first names till the cows come home.
But I
Eventually gonna hit
wasn't.
it.
But I wasn't.
Oh, so you're saying you picked up on the energy, you got the damn part, and then let's see if we can get the back end of this. Let's get the back legs of the horse costume.
It's not Danny Tartavel because you said he's white. Not Dan Gladden, but it is a Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Did I ask what team? Am I allowed to say what team?
He plays for one of the teams.
Two American League teams he played for, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, what uniform is he in?
He's wearing a hat of it right now.
Dan with the White Sox. Oh.
Left field.
You got it.
Never hit more than 20 home runs.
Dan Polino. Dan.
Oh, you're close.
He is close. He's close with that.
It's not Dan Paul. Dan.
You're very close, Brody.
I mean, I pretty much got it.
Not quite. I mean,
yeah, I did. He's left-handed. He's got black hair. I think he wore number 8.
Did you get the number right? Because he does have black hair, and he is.
No.
I think Dan.
You're really
There
close.
is an 8 in his number.
You're really close.
Dan. It's not Dan Polino. Dan Paluna.
You're real close.
Dan Paula. Dan. I got it. I mean, I got it. Dan.
Pasqua.
I mean, come on. I pretty much got it.
Yeah, I think you got 90%.
Yeah. Once you said Dan, I said white guy.
Once you said Dan.
I said Dan Glad, and it was Dan Pasqua. That's how you play the baseball card game.
Passive aggressively?
I got it.
I mean,
And I would have got Steve, too.
I agree you would have got. You want to do one more?
If Aaron says.
Aaron, do we have time for Brody to do one more?
Let's do one more.
Okay.
Okay, quickly.
Here, can I pick it?
Yeah, let's see.
I'll keep my eyes
But
closed. And you can
really-
pick any one.
Really try to stump him. Yeah, we get that.
Yeah, try to Steve stump me. This is 1991. And you don't have to pick the card random. I mean, you out of there, you can say, okay.
Yeah, no, yeah.
No, I got
And there's a
it.
chance
I got it.
they could be a no-name guy.
I got it.
This is the hardest game ever.
Ooh, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's a good one though.
And if I don't know the name, I'll just I'll go rogue.
I believe in you on this one, Brody.
I think Brody can get this one pretty relatively quick.
Pretty quick.
It's 1991?
91, yeah, it's still not the same thing.
My guess would be Pedro Guerrero.
Nope. Any questions? You want to try to?
What position?
I believe this question will kind of give you a big hint. DH.
1991 DH.
I also believe he played some first base.
Did, yes.
It's not Frank Thomas, is it?
No.
No.
You're saying he played first base?
He did in his career.
Yeah. He started as a DH, it looks
At this
like.
point in time, he's very young in his career and only had done pretty much DH work, but he eventually did some first base.
Is he right-handed or left-handed?
I
How do
believe
you not know that?
he was lefty.
What's that?
He was lefty.
Left-handed DH.
Left-handed.
DH.
That's correct.
1991.
It's still yeah. Mm-hmm.
What team? Well, let me throw out a guess.
Yeah.
It's not Palmero.
No, but Toronto Blue Jays is the answer to your question. Toronto Blue Jays is not Rafael Palmeiro.
That might be too much. You might have made it too easy for Brody.
That probably will solidify it.
Yeah,
You have a lot of info to nail this right now.
I mean, yeah, you give me-
Left-handed, DH, early in his career, Blue Jays.
It's not McGriff, is it?
No.
Not Crime
Good
Dog.
guess.
Wait, is this a white guy? Do I ask? Is
He's
he
white,
He's African American or white?
No, he's white.
It's not John Olerud.
Damn it.
Damn it.
You
It
got
is?
it.
Yeah, it's Olerud.
You got it.
That's how you play the game, bro. It's John Olerud.
But it's gonna you do one more quick
Okay.
one. Quick.
John Olerud played a little more than just some first base. He was a Gold Glover.
Well,
Multiple
understandably, but this in the game, this was his second year. in the league. So he hadn't played any
Brody,
first base at all. He
this
only
one's-
had DH'd at that point in time. So I didn't want to give him 2,000, 98 stats.
No, that was
when-
good. That was
yeah.
good.
Mhm.
You made me think a little bit.
This is going to be a little too hard, I think, but I believe in you.
Is he white?
He's white.
White guy, 1991. Would
Oh,
it
I
be
forgot about this guy.
Ken Oberkfell?
No.
Chuck Knobloch.
Ooh, good guess, but no.
White guy. Greg Gagne.
No.
What position?
Second base, and I'll even tell you, bats lefty, is a lefty. Second baseman.
It's not Tom Herr.
Nope.
Reynolds.
Mickey Morandola. Mickey Morandini.
No.
Bats left-handed,
Bats left-handed,
throws right. Second base. He must.
second base.
White guy.
White guy.
Not Tom Herr.
Not.
White guy.
I'll give you.
I'm just going.
I'll give you a hint. The center fielder of that team at that time was one Deion Sanders.
Mark Lemke.
Yep.
But Mark Lemke batted left. Yeah,
Yeah.
What was
better
a switch hitter?
that was too easy.
Switch hitter, didn't he?
Well, if I didn't say Deion,
Well, you gave me a nice hint.
yeah, that's what.
Thank you.
Was he a switch hitter?
I don't know if he was a switch hitter.
He wore a double flap helmet, so
Are you saying he hit lefty?
Yeah, I know he.
But
In
was
my
he a-
head, he batted lefty.
Was he a switch hitter though?
I don't recall. But
What does it say on the baseball card?
Let's see.
I mean, why? I mean, you can't. That's how you play the game with stats.
You got it right.
Is he a switch hitter or not, or left-handed? I think he was just a lefty, but he may have been switch.
No, he throws right.
And bats what?
Both. Yeah.
There you go, switch hitter. You said left-handed hitter.
I said he bats left-handed. I didn't say either which way.
Well, you would say he's a switch hitter. But I would, to be honest with you, it wouldn't have affected my answer.
You got it right pretty quickly.
I know, but we have to play by the rules. Everything is authenticized. This is like the real deal.
I just want the record to show I said Chuck Knobloch, also a second baseman. So I was on the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I played off that. That's the other thing with the baseball card game. You can actually you got to listen to what the other guys are guessing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I'll like lean on Aaron whether he knows it or not.
Yeah,
Like,
you'll eliminate options by what's been guessed.
yeah, but it's not just eliminate you feel the vibe. You get in the head with him. It's not just I'm waiting for a name. Oh, cross it off. I'm with him. I'm with. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going here. Not like that's not what I'm thinking. You know, there's a lot of subtleties in
It's
this
an
game.
energy that you feel and pick up.
No, but it's like when you play baseball. If they put you into play left field and you're nervous, chances are the ball's going to find you. That's how the game is. The baseball card game works off those energies.
Same kind of energies.
Exactly. And I think we're learning that. I feel good about today's podcast.
I do. Me too. You were like, hey, come in for like 10 minutes, and then we were here the whole time, but I really had a lot of fun. Thank you for having both of us on here and let us do this crossover kind of
we call it the rollover.
crossover, mashup. DJs call it mashups.
I feel pretty good about it. I think it was a decent podcast. I mean, it was different. It was loose. I don't know how many people watched it. Sometimes we get close to 1,000.
People were texting me questions to ask and guessing at baseball things.
I'll tell you what.
And that's true.
7 retweets,
That's good.
9
Unfollows, 9 blocks.
and that's where we're at right now. Luke, anything going on?
Going to Chicago, August 16th through 18th. Going to be at the Laugh Factory there on Saturday night. So yeah, please message me. I'll get you in.
I don't think I'll be there those days. That's awesome. You're playing the Laugh Factory. Who are you going there with? By yourself?
No, me, Punky Johnson, Ron Taylor. We got a little tour
that'd be
going.
so
that
fun.
show. I saw some of the
That's
dates.
a
That's
fun
awesome.
show.
Yeah.
That's a fun vibe. All 3 of you are hilarious, and all 3 good friends of mine. So
That's
that
a
was
great
lot of fun.
idea.
Thanks,
So
brother.
all 3 of you guys are.
Yeah, we have a little just tour going. Every 1 weekend a month, we want to go to a different city, and we're booking our own gigs. So this is the first one.
Congratulations. I think that's a
Thank you.
great idea.
Yeah, I mean, we figured we're not really going on the road. Nobody's taking us, so let's take ourselves.
I love that.
taking action.
Yeah.
And anything you want to talk about here today, Jason Tebow?
As always, listen to Punch Drunk and All Things Comedy Network here. And I was saying it before, but I really implore any fan of the Festival of Sports and Friendship or Brody Stephen fans or All Things Comedy fans, come to the All Things Comedy Festival at the end of October 25th to the 28th.
They have the dates out?
25th to the 28th of October, just came out.
I did not know that.
And come to Phoenix. It was a super great time last time, and it's going to be even more fun this time. So if you're a fan of Brody's wonderful show, or Punch Drunk, or Bill Burr, or Nick Youssef, or Sam Tripoli, or Ari Shaffir, or any other shows that are on this network, I highly recommend you guys get your tickets ASAP, book your hotel rooms, and come out and have laughs.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that. I will be marking that on my calendar.
Last weekend of October.
The last weekend in October.
25th to the 28th.
This is
Phoenix, Arizona. Very close to where you played. What? You played softball, college softball? What?
No, I played baseball.
Oh, is that right? Yep.
I was a
I always
pitcher.
forget that.
I played for Arizona State University, and that's the way it goes. Thank you very much for sticking around and being a part of today's podcast.
Brody, thank you, man.
And Luke, congratulations on
Very proud of you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
on
Very proud of
having
you.
your name on the wall at the Comedy Store, which is awesome.
It's in a good spot.
You've earned it, and yeah, you're out in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
I'm in the back. Yeah,
Are you in the back?
I'm in the back, the back wall area, which is kind of like, a bummer.
Yeah.
Really is. When people ask me like, what brings me down, it's like, yeah, my name is on the
Rick
back,
Honeycutt.
the back facing wall. Like, who sees it? Yeah, people trying to sneak into the belly room. Yeah, what a joke.
You know who I feel bad for is Sebastian.
Yeah, he's on the
He's
cover.
on the cover of the bar.
Yeah,
so when they take the bar off,
he's gone.
Yeah.
you
He's
can't
got-
even see Sebastian's name.
I'm sure he's got a he.
I think he's doing okay.
I could see him getting.
I'm pretty sure Sebastian's just fine.
It's pretty cool though. It is, and who else got their name up on the wall, by the way, last night?
Ron Taylor,
Josh Martin,
Brian Simpson, Beth Stelling,
Brad Williams,
Patton Oswalt,
Brad Williams.
What's the deal with the Comedy Store now? Is it just you're just chosen, or is there a process?
Well, you still showcase now, but I think there's a few people that, the Brad Williams and Patton Oswalds of the world didn't really have to showcase. They just had to be like willing to be coming around and putting.
Do you think it's weird, a little strange? Like Patton's been doing spots now for a couple months, a few months maybe.
Yes.
Do you think it's a little soon for having the name up on the wall?
Not really.
Really?
No, he's a name. I get
I'm
it.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that.
Is it weird? Is it weird?
I just feel like, you know what? Let's see how this.
Give it a year.
Give it a year. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Give it a year.
I hear what you're saying then. Yeah. I
Ron
agree.
Taylor, he's probably worked there close to a year, maybe.
Maybe a little less, but yeah. I've been there a bit.
You definitely deserve your name. You've been there. Josh Martin's been there for a long time. Best-selling, not really, in terms of being there for a long time.
She's not even there that much.
Best-selling, Patton. Who else was up on there last
Brad
night?
Williams.
Brad is somebody who's not really.
You know what's weird is that they put his name at the lowest part.
Did they really?
Yeah, it's like, dude, let at least be
Are you
eye level
serious?
for him. His name is the lowest one on there. It's like they should have thought about that.
But here's my feeling, and I'm not knocking these guys, and I guess this is how it is. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's great for morale. Again, I'm not knocking these guys being.
I understand what you're saying.
That's all I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
It's like now you're on the wall. It's like, it's
prove that you want to be here. Like, don't come here, do 4 spots, get your name on the wall, and then show up once a year.
Yeah,
Like,
that would be
a part of the club, and then let everyone know, like, oh, I want to be a part of this, and then maybe
that, or
I see what you're saying.
putting the time in and then getting your name up, and then if Luke decided to leave, if Luke said, I got my name on the wall, I did it.
He's done the time though.
I'm out of here. Exactly.
He's earned that.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Whereas but look at that. Luke has been there for
8 years.
8 years.
8 years,
Yeah. Mhm.
and gets his name up on the wall.
Yeah.
Patton just got passed or what have you.
And he's also one of those guys back in the alt times when the Comedy Store wasn't doing well, was like, fuck that place. That place is a cookie cutter. And now that it's the hottest club in the world, now all these guys want to start coming around. So there is a little bit of that.
And again,
a little bit.
yeah. And I'm not on that bandwagon, and I'm not, putting my flag in that mountain. I'm saying that there is that element, there is that out there, that little simmering thing.
You're right. That's true.
Because I've always said, like, morale of comedians, you want to, keep a thing on that. But I do, though, feel like the Comedy Store, it's going to be like the Comedy Store Studios. We're seeing, like, Comedy Store, it's going to turn into, like, Warner Brothers Studios. I don't know. It feels like we're in the beginning stages of the Comedy Store being frickin' the vultures coming in and, hey, we're going to give you a Comedy Store channel on DirecTV. You're going to get a Comedy Store channel on IFC, and then it'll be Comedy Store 3 hours a week. And we'll have the show, and it's going to be I'm not saying that's going to happen, and I'm not saying that won't or will, but it seems like elements of that are there. What do you think, Luke?
Are we still recording?
Yeah, so don't say it.
No, we're only halfway through the pod.
No, and I'm not slam. These
no.
aren't slams. These are
No,
not
I know
slams.
what you mean.
I understand what you're saying.
I know what you mean. But I do think that truth still wins at the store, even if, you know what I mean? It still has a natural weeding out process of bullshit.
Oh, yeah, you can get good weed in the back.
You can get great weed. But
Hopefully tonight.
I know what you mean. There are more vultures there now than ever. That's going to happen. But I also think, because we were all there when it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
I don't think anything changed necessarily. I just think people came to it.
Uber.
Podcasts.
Yeah.
Podcasts.
Yeah. Podcasts are huge.
My late night show.
Yeah.
Pushing, believing.
I mean, Brody.
Pubs.
You're special.
Nobody talks about it, really.
But not now. I'm telling you, in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that's the kind of special that really shows the main room late at night. That really, like, as a guy who's in the... Yeah. It's the only special I've seen that you're yelling at people as they're leaving. It's the best.
I can't tell you how many times I'll do my show in the main room there, and then simultaneously Dave Chappelle's performing in the original room.
Yeah.
And I go, we've been going mano-y-mano for 30 minutes. And my crowd stays with me. It's not like they get out and they go, oh, Chappelle's in the other room. They stay with me. They have to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of times they're waiting for their check. But I hear what you're saying.
Well, you know those situations. All right, listen, we got to wrap it up. Aaron, thank you for being a great producer and overseeing and all that. Aaron's over there.
Oh, there he is.
Tebow and
Thanks, buddy.
Lucas Earl, Stephen Brody Stevens. We'll see you back all the time here. Aldings Comedy. You got it. Push and Believe. Festival of Sports and Friendship. Stephen Brody Stevens. Yes!